So, after a bit of a delay because I was pressing the wrong buttons, welcome, welcome to it's a delayed review of the game on Saturday. Unfortunately, Andy can't be here with us this evening. He's not feeling too great. I think he's come down with a case of a man flu, so he's unable to join me. But I am joined by the wonderful person that is Steve. Below me on screen. Steve, how are you, my man?
Yeah, good, thanks. Much better than last week. Can actually walk without crutches now, so all is good, really.
You know what? That's always a pleasure. Me, I'm tickety-boo, as always.
Excellent.
I am living the dream, healthy as shit. No, I'm not, but we just crack on. Steve, obviously, we're here to talk about the game on Saturday against Burnley. We have no Andy, so we have no fancy down graphics. We have no, we did this, we did that. Here's the goals. Here's a picture of this. Andy is the god and the guru of all of that. So, unfortunately, the lovely people in the chat only really have you and me to look at, and that's I'd say that's unfortunate for most of them.
Well, they only have you to look at
since I started talking about that. So, you know, it is what it is. Let's start with the lineup then, Steve. Lineups came out an hour before kickoff, and surprise, surprise, we were greeted with the sight of a certain Mr. Ings up top. I don't need to ask you how you felt.
Hang on.
Oh, someone's knocked at the front door. We'll wait. You crack on.
Yeah,
We're sitting in silence. This one.
Oh, got a very big Amazon delivery, probably for who's that? Oh, it's for number one son. Yeah, okay, fine.
So you got a large package.
Well, it looks that way. Yeah, goodness only knows what he's got. I mean, he's just moved. He's just moved house, so he can't get his stuff delivered down to him. So he's getting it delivered to me at the moment.
Ah, fair play, fair play. At least you're doing it. We have 6 people in the chat. We have Wolf. Good evening, Wolf. Nice to see you back.
Good evening.
Joan's here with us. Joan has come and said hello. Thank you, Joan, for joining us as well. Listen, as I said, Steve, the squad was announced an hour before kickoff, and Mr. Ings was up front. I don't need to ask you how you felt, but I'm going to.
Well, I thought there was a little bit of me that was hoping he'd show the Danny Ings finishing that he's done at every other club, but realistically, he wasn't the man to have up front for that game. As proved, even though Moyes tried to defend him, said, Danny Ings did a lot of good things. I thought he was very poor, and not through his own fault. We just don't play to his strengths. So why play him? But you just set him up for failure, poor bloke.
I think that's the sad part of it, Steve, and it is, you've just said the words there. We set him up for failure. It's not that he's a bad striker. It's not that he's a bad player. I actually rate Danny Ings quite highly. I think the sad part of it is that he can't play in our setup, our formation, our tactical game. It just doesn't suit Danny Ings and what Danny Ings does. So it really isn't his fault, is it?
That's a complete waste of talent in playing for us. I've got to be honest, because he goes somewhere else where it suits him, he's going to score 10 goals a season, maybe more, you know. Must be deeply frustrating for him.
Do you think, Steve, that Moyes feels obliged to play him because he was a gift, if you will, from Golden Sullivan? Do you think, obviously, we're talking before, you know, David Gold passed away. I'm not saying...
I think he plays Ings because by nature, Moyes plays it safe. He goes with experience. And he's that, in Moyes' eyes, is the safe bet to put Ings up there. Now, whether you agree with that or not, I think it's in Moyes' mentality to choose Ings over Obama. He's not a risk taker, Moyes, and that works pretty well on the whole. But
do you think? I'm going to jump. Actually, I'm not going to jump here. Carry on. Sorry, I was going to pose you a question based around a bit later in the game. I won't do that now. I'll wait. Crack on.
I think Ings is a cracking striker, but under Moyes, it didn't work for Chicharito. He's a fairly similar fox in the box. Why on earth do you think it'll work for Danny Ings? It just didn't, or doesn't. And yeah, for goodness sake, go out and buy a striker, or at least play to our strengths. You know, you need a big lump up there who can hold the ball up, and Danny Ings isn't that. That simple.
The rest of the side, though, you know, it was good to see Kudus out there. I know. Listen, no player covered themselves in glory in the first half, and we'll skip the first half for the most part because there isn't anything to talk about other than the possibility of a penalty given away by Soufal on. I think it was their left winger, a really good player.
Yeah, he had Soufal on toast, didn't he, that guy?
He was fantastic. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's no Burnley player there that makes me go, I want to sign them. I want those players. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think James Trafford is a fantastic goalkeeper. But again, there's no one there that...
Well, I think Areola's possibly the best keeper we've had between the sticks for a long while. And that's no disrespect.
I'd say probably, mate, I know everyone bangs on about JMO, Green, Xhaka. Ludo for me was probably one of the best that we've had. I was talking to someone downstairs about 41 goals in 46 games in the promotion season. I think it was 92, 93. I think he's one of the best goalkeepers we've had since then.
Yeah, best of all time had to be Phil Parks.
Listen, he finishes second in my all-time goalkeepers list, Phil Parks, because Ludo was what I remember. Phil Parks was the end of his career just as I was getting into football. So, Ludo was the one that really sticks out. But I've got to say, that first half was dire, Steve, wasn't it? Like, absolutely painful. I've watched the highlights and... yeah, shit. It was awful. It was uncomfortable. I mean, I was at my brother's game. They won 4-0 at the weekend. By the way, I'll do a little. I'll tell you what. I'll do a little review of that in the next video at 8:00 over on the other channel. I'll do a little sum up. I might even start doing that on a Monday when we do them.
Yeah, why not?
But I was there watching my brother's game, and we came in at full time in his game. It was half time ish at ours. I saw the penalty. Claim against Soufal, and then obviously I had a young man who was able to show me some of the game at the ground for the second half, but the first half was just Steve. Like, I get entirely that people are not happy about the way we play, the setup.
Yeah.
But Saturday first half, I think, went beyond just how bad things have been recently. Would you agree with that? Would that be something you'd get on board with? The fact that first half was some of the worst football we've seen this season?
Oh, I'd agree, but I think there's a lot of mitigating factors to that. I think there's a lot of things that add to that performance. First of all, how many of the Burnley players have been away on international duty?
Yeah, listen, I get that. Yeah,
not
I completely
many.
Agree.
Alvarez, by all accounts, was dead in his feet and was never going to make 90 minutes.
Same with Kudus. Yeah, he was absolutely knackered, wasn't he? Yeah.
So we went into that game really, really tired, and you could tell those boys are putting a hard shift on international duty, and that's the trouble. As you become a better team, you've got more internationals in your side, and because just the travelling alone would take it out of you.
Well,
So,
I believe Caduce had a 14-hour, 16-hour flight? Is that correct?
yeah. I mean, I know when we go over to Tanzania and it's door to door, it's including the flight, door to door, it's a day. You are absolutely wasted by the time you get there and get back. You've got nothing. And that's just travelling, and that's just sitting and travelling. So I think you've got to take into context the fact that our players were shattered. Now, that first half, it was so bad that my lower intestine tried to leap up and strangle me to put me out of my misery, you know. It was dire.
Was it Kieran or Danny? How bad was it?
Who knows? But I tell you what, it was awful, but not unexpectedly awful. That's the thing. Moyes has got absolutely pillared this week because of that performance, and I just want to give my opinion on it. We've got a really hectic schedule of games. We're absolutely flat out, and we found a way to win when we could hardly keep our eyes open on the pitch. And for me, although the football wasn't great, to actually get the win was fantastic, considering everything that was going on. I mean, I read somewhere somebody put, I really don't want to watch my team anymore. I only do it for my channel, so I can carry on doing my channel. And I thought, well, if watching it is making you that miserable, why don't you go and do something else? Life is too short.
Yeah, listen, I think the people possibly watching may well have known who that that channel was. We have spoken about them. Irons for Life is in the chat. He obviously says Moyes out, Ings is finished. Just like Moyes, he then says Moyes is the only manager to ruin Ings. He played in a 2 wherever he's been, scored goals, he even banged him in at Burnley. So what, you said it yourself there, Irons. He played in a 2. Villa got rid of him because they weren't going to play a 2. And look what's happened. We took him on. Billy Bob says he's gently caressed the like button as he does every stream. If the rest of you could follow suit, that'd be amazing. Trinny Hammer says Mervyn Day was a great keeper. He was. Don't get me wrong, he was a great keeper, but I certainly wouldn't put him on par with someone like, in my opinion, with someone like Parks or Ludo. But that's just me. I'm not saying you're wrong, Trini. I'm just saying that that's my opinion on it. Billy Bob says Phil P is a legend. Moisey can jog on. He also says it's more exciting watching the steam come out of it. Well, also says there's no excuse. I'm guessing that's relating to what you says. He says he's from Northern Ireland, where top teams play 50+ games a season and have to go to work on top of that. Tired my ass. Billy Bob, there is a significant part of me that does agree with that. They still train. It's the same as the guys, even in the lower leagues. You look at teams like Wrexham. I'm not saying that Wrexham, kind of should be considered at this level, but when they're playing, do you mind ambulances? Thank you. When you consider these guys are brickies, they are plumbers. Some of these they play sometimes twice a week, and they have to train. They still have to go to work. So I do see where Billy Bob's coming from, but I also think that the players on top flight will train harder, longer. But it is what it is. Trini says we're friends. We are fans, so we have to watch. But you can't ask us to like that. I'll come to that in a minute, Trini.
I agree with that.
Joan says she was so depressed and then over the moon at what an unexpected win that she's still smiling. Trini agrees with what I said there, Ludo Parks, and then in his opinion, Mervyn. I think I can agree with that. No need And then Becca says, "Good evening, liked and shared. Really, no need." Steve, Mandy G's in. Oi oi. We make the sub. We go 1-0 down, Steve. Let's talk about coming out in the second half because it was awful. We come out in the second half. We finally give away the penalty that we were all expecting the first one to be. I actually think the first one was more of a penalty than the second one, and I don't even think the first one was a penalty. Do you think it was?
What, the first one?
The second one
Yeah, I do. Yeah, he
could do.
tripped him.
I mean, listen, I think he steps on his toes, but I don't think it's a penalty.
Well, did you see some of the penalties given against Wolves last night?
I mean, that's a great shout. The second one definitely was. I'm gonna jump in and defend the officials and the VAR there. I actually think the second one was a penalty. The Wolves player wins the ball, but he actually loses control after it bounces up off his leg. He then impedes the Fulham player from getting to the ball inside the box before he does. His knee actually hits his upper thigh. I do think that's a penalty. The other one, maybe not so much. But yeah, back to the West Ham game. They get the penalty. It's given. It's dispatched by Jay Rodriguez, who is just a player that keeps doing. He's another player that I look at like Callum Wilson, Steve. I don't think they're well beaters in any way, shape, or form, but they still do the job for their respective clubs, don't they?
They do, and that's all you can ask, isn't it? I mean, being a player who produces consistently makes you a good player. You don't have to be brilliant. You don't have to have all the flicks that everybody else does. But if you can be consistent, you're worth your weight in gold.
Yeah, and that's and Jay Rodriguez is to Burnley what Callum Wilson is to Newcastle. I feel anyway.
Yeah. So when they went 1-0 up, you couldn't say they didn't deserve to be 1 up.
No,
they did.
Yep.
There wasn't a lot between the teams, but I think Burnley edged it. And 1-0 up, it was predictable. You know, it's typical West Ham. Second half starts, we concede a goal. You know, we're very good at that. And at 1-0 down, I thought, this is over. You know, I could not see how we were going to score a goal.
Yep.
I didn't think anybody was there. But in typical West Ham fashion, and I've seen this all last season, all this season, we go behind and then we start to play a bit. We start to show that we are a better team than Burnley. And when he brought Mbama on, it changed significantly what we were doing. Duke's left me. Okay, I'm sure he'll be back. But
I'm still here, mate. I've just had to come off camera a second because I'm trying to check something. Hang on, you carry on. I am listening.
Yeah, Mbama came on the pitch and changed things significantly. Now, if that's not a reason to start him over Ings, I don't know what is, because Ings could have played out there for a month of Sundays and not scored. And Mbama comes on, and okay, he didn't get credited the goal, but we're 1-1. And our tails are up. And as soon as we went to 1-1, you could see Burnley's heads drop, and there was only one winner from there. And if we got out of it with a point, it would have been daylight robbery. To get out of that game with 3 points, makes the Brinks Max looks like taking a Mars bar from a shop, doesn't it? In comparison, it was outrageous 3 points, but I'll take them.
I mean, listen, he made the substitution, Steve, and we looked a different team, didn't we? We looked a whole different kettle of fish.
I don't know what went on there because, I mean, Paqueta I thought was very poor at the weekend. People might disagree, but he did his usual, threw himself to the floor and gave them a goal-scoring opportunity, which drives me mad when he does that. but I didn't think Paqueta was very good at all. And I think his head went down about 70 minutes until we got the goal. Then it gave the whole team a lift. Does anyone come out of that game with credit? Well, Kudos does. 2 assists effectively, and the ball for Souček was brilliant. Absolutely superb. But I just think it was a lackluster, lethargic performance where we somehow managed to get across the line and win 2-1. And I guess that's the mark of a good team. You play like a bunch of twits and you still come out winning. I've seen Liverpool teams, Man U teams, Man City teams do that year in, year out. They've been the second best team on the park and they've somehow managed to win it. And that's all you can ask, really. Yeah, would I have liked an open, attractive, flowing game? Yeah, I didn't get it, but we still won. I don't know what else to say beyond that, really. It really was a dull game and an awful performance. There's no two ways about it. He's obviously deep in thought on something. Oh, no, he's back.
No, sorry, Steve. I've just caught someone in my pub vandalising. I spent money last year on a blow-up Father Christmas in an England shirt with a football, and I've just caught someone on camera because obviously I've got my setup. Hang on, there you go. Look, you can see my camera there, and I've just literally, as I've been doing the stream with you, looked up and I've just seen someone draw all over the England part of that football shirt with women's all over it. Well, I didn't pay 40 quid for that blow up Father Christmas for someone to go and deface it, no matter what they thought was fun. So I've just called the staff to turf them out the door. If they've got a problem, they can come and talk to me tomorrow. I don't appreciate that side of things, So sorry. I was just trying to deal with.
Reasonable.
I was just trying to deal with that.
Yeah.
No, I think that's the first time, Steve, we've actually come from behind this season to win a game after conceding first.
Oh, right, because we were 2-1 down against Forest, weren't we?
Yeah, but we
scored first.
Yeah, we scored first. That's the first time this season that we've conceded first but gone on to win.
Yeah.
I think us and Burnley are the only teams not to do it this season. And as far as I'm now aware, that's the case. I'll just jump in the chat because obviously I've been away for a few moments. Drainho Hammer says, evening all, not going to lie, Saturday was woeful for 80 minutes. I was contemplating leaving my garden bar and going down the pub. I'm glad I was stayed in and able to enjoy the last 10 minutes that it was. Yes, agreed. Yeah. Billy Bob says they made changes to try and keep the win, which then helped us massively. Yes, because they can't defend like you'd expect them to. Drano says it's like watching a different team. Happy's in the building. Good evening, Happy. She's evening, my special little crocodilus. Not quite sure what to do with that information.
Oh, Billy Bobby started calling Happy by first name on his streams. I've actually said to Gonzo he's taking his life into his own hands there.
What, Kerry? I mean, listen, I might start doing the same thing. She says here, is this a nature channel? Crocs is munching on his prey. Mobama showed enthusiasm, pace, and gave others a lift. That's correct. Yeah. Pac-Man looks up for a pass, and Ings isn't in sight. I will say that I wasn't impressed with Paqueta either. He kind of threw himself to the floor. There was a lot of wayward passes. Quite frustrating, really. Drainol says Caduce looked a different player, knowing there was movement up front, and Burnley's defence had a player to keep them thinking, which gave him some space. And there it is. There it is. When you've got players in front of you that are willing to move, you can, you understand. And Happy then goes 100%. Kudos was given a bit of freedom because Mobama moved and was taking players with him, which, stretched the defence. Happy Amaret, I'm guessing he's referring to my stream, my issue. Wolf says that I'm finally back, and Drainol says Ings couldn't keep my dog occupied. It looks like a boxer dog in a West Ham shirt in your profile picture there. And Snazzy is here in the building. Happy evening all, and Happy just says hello back. The last 10 minutes, Steve, we were a different team though, weren't we?
Ah, cracking. Last 10 minutes, I really enjoyed it. I mean, after seriously considering hitting myself over the head with a bit of 4x2 just to keep myself awake for the first 80, the last 10 was very engaging. At 80 minutes, before we woke up, as it were, it was just dire. Yeah, I'm much better, thank you. Happy. My tendon and my ankle is going down steadily day by day. So at this rate, I'll be back out on the golf course in a couple of weeks. That's been the killer. Haven't been able to play any golf.
Can't help people like you.
No, true.
Bloody golf.
But you know, the last 10 minutes was great.
Happy says here, feel sorry for Ings. Money aside, he must take being here. Listen, I am going to jump on this just quickly because Happy's brought it up, and he's not 125 grand a week. He's not.
It's nothing
regardless of what you say for the other, you know, what you think of the others, regardless of what other channels say, regardless of this, that, and the other, he's not on 125 grand a week. He's on 90. I know that's still a big chunk of change, but he's not what people are saying he's on. So, you know, I'm just saying. But he is on a big chunk of change, and I listen. I don't think Ings is the sort of player that just wants to play for money. I think he actually wants it, or shall I say, just there for the money. I'm guessing he wants to be able to play, and unfortunately, it's not working for him. I think there's 22 games now where he hasn't scored.
Longest run, isn't it, of all time for Ings?
And by the way, other fast food companies are still available. But if these guys want to sponsor one of the shows, please let me know.
But I mean, statistically now, Moyes is our most successful manager ever, points per game.
Worrying, isn't it?
Well, people want Moyes out, okay. And I get it. I really do understand why. But to get somebody who can do better than him, nobody in the history of West Ham has.
Yep.
Right. And this Moyes out stuff, I understand it completely. But I remember my dad. I remember my dad coming home and saying, "Oh, Greenwood's lost it. We need to replace him. You know, he needs to move on. He's not. We need to do something different." And now Greenwood is lauded as the architect of West Ham, and there were Lyle-out protests as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, was I bored out of my tiny mind on Saturday? Yes, I was.
That's a given, mate. Yep.
But we won. And I've watched a lot of performances, a lot worse than that, where we've got absolutely stuffed. So, go on.
I was going to say, I'm just shocked by the fact that sorry, I'm just getting messages coming through. I'm shocked by the fact that there are so many people that want Moyes out on the back of the fact that the football's shit. Now, I know the football's shit, and I know it's hard to stomach and it's hard to watch. What I will say is, for those of you that want to watch better, more progressive football, entertaining football, or the like, would you take us losing 4-3 every week and be entertained, but ultimately get relegated, or play shit football like you saw on Saturday, win 2-1 and qualify for Europe and win things? I know where I'm at. And people might not agree with that, and people might think I'm being a bit fucking idiotic But I'd rather have to put up with what I'm putting up with, win 2-1 and go on and win stuff.
Yeah, so would I.
If I may, I'm going to jump ahead about 8 messages. We would never get relegated with this team attacking. Ha, ha, ha. Wolf, if you don't mind me asking, I just want to check how old you are. Because the simple fact is, I witnessed a West Ham side that contained Di Canio, Joe Cole, Michael Carrick, Jermaine Defoe get relegated with the most points that we've got. Okay, there's no guarantee, Billy Bob, that we're going to play football and win. There's no guarantee we're going to play pretty football and win. But if we play shit like we did on Saturday and win 2-1, I'm taking that all day long. I'm not saying I'm happy with the football. I'm happy with the 3 points.
Yeah,
and I think that's where I'm at.
And for me, after supporting the Hammers for 50 years, I've seen us play pretty and get stuffed so often. I just want to see my team win.
Listen, Wolf, I'm not digging you out, and I appreciate your opinion. I do. What I mean is that I saw, for me, the greatest side that I think I've seen us assemble talent-wise.
Yeah.
Before now, get relegated with the most talented side we'd had.
It was harder to get that side relegated than stay up, in my opinion.
It was harder to get that team relegated than play shit with this team and qualify for Europe.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I actually think Glenn Roeder did a really good job in a way, if you look at it like that. I am not saying I don't want to see a progressive manager come in. I'm not saying that I don't want to be entertained. What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, we just got to get 3 points. Whether or not people agree with me, that's fine, and I'm willing to sit down and have an adult conversation, an adult debate over it. I don't mind that. You put your case forward, I'll put mine forward, and at the end of it, if we have to agree to disagree, then we can do so. But for me, football's a results-based business. Managers live and die by the results that they get, not necessarily the football that they play. Now, if we're playing shit and we lose and we get relegated, fine, I get that. If we're playing shit and we're winning games, a manager's going to keep his job, just for the simple fact is, well, he's going to keep us up. He's going to get us into Europe. He's going to have a run in the cup. Let's have a look. We're in the quarterfinal of the League Cup. Yeah, we've got our hardest game coming up in Liverpool, I think. Don't get me wrong. I thought Arsenal was a hard game, but Liverpool is obviously harder. That's where I'm at. Win games, however you have to play to win them. I think I would like to see West Ham win and not be shit. But I right now, if that's all I've got is to win and be shit, or play some football and lose, give me shit and win every time.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to accept that you go through a phase of winning ugly.
Yeah.
You're not always going to be at your best. You're not always going to be, they're human beings out on the pitch. They're going to have off days. And we've got a toughie coming up on Sunday because we've got an away leg on Thursday, play the game, get back Friday, day's rest, no training, I would imagine, and Palace on Sunday. Now, that's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, I mean,
you get results.
I've got to say, because I want to try and wrap this up, because I'm very aware that we were meant to start our other stream in 5 minutes. So we'll be quick. Eastside's joined us. Good evening, Eastside. He says, we all know Moyes doesn't know how to use strikers. Ings was banging in goals before he joined us. He was Villa's top scorer, yes. But once Emery came in, he was only ever using one striker. I think they forced Watkins out wide to accommodate Ings. Ings joined us and have a look. Nobody had the money to spend either. Yeah, okay. Moyes plays shit football. Don't be blinded by the stats. If that was Villa or a Newcastle, we don't win. You're right. We probably don't, but we did, and we were playing Burnley. Different kettle of fish. You can be happy with the win, but also pissed off with performances. Yes, you can. I listen.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that.
The performance was awful. I was delighted with the 3 points. I think that's where I am on it. You can't. There is no way to defend that performance. It was dreadful, but we got 3 points, and that actually, I'm over the moon about. So it was a game.
But that's it, and it be all and end all.
You know, I thought actually I was suffering from insomnia a few nights ago. I thought, oh, maybe I'll replay the first half. That was
See, Wolf, I think that's where you might be. I can agree with you on points and disagree with on other points, because I think we would still ship goals. I think we would be too easy to get in behind and concede. Happy he had 6 goals before he came to us in January. Eastside says it's not sustainable. A company will do wonders with that squad. He doesn't have the players at Burnley. I don't necessarily agree with that. There are other managers out there I would like to see, but tune in to the Extra Time headquarters show shortly, and we will discuss what we would like to see. Eastside happy, that's what I mean. Billy Bob says, I'd rather play football and win. Not always working that way unless you've got a City or a Liverpool, Arsenal, that kind of squad. Eastside says, imagine we had Ange in charge. We should have got him when we had the opportunity to. I think with the talent we have, I think we could do very well. I think we need to shore up our defence first. I think, again, there's too many mistakes in him. Zuma, he's injury prone. I think we need 3 top talented centre-backs and a right-back before we even considered having that conversation. The football isn't sustainable under Moyes. End of. We won't get away with it all the time. I don't disagree. We leak too many goals, says Happy, and I think that's what I just said about having the other centre backs. A few comments about being 3-0 up. Why is this not working? Remember 3-0 at half time. Wimbledon finished 4-3. It was a great game, but I wouldn't have wanted to lose. And I think that's the guys are going chatting between themselves. Bradford 5-4. My emotions were all over the place. Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think under Moyes we win games more by luck than design, possibly, but we still win them, Trini, and you can't argue with that. Happy says, I'm happy for Moyes to stay until the summer because we're stable, boring but stable. Definitely want someone for the start of next season. Exciting stuff after a transitional period. Agreed. Yes. I miss the feeling of your heart racing watching a match and thinking you can score at any time. It's stressful, but you're always glued to the screen. Yes. Charlton 4-4. I do agree with what you just said, to be honest. There are pros and cons. There are. I miss being happy with winning. It's more of a relief for not losing.
That
I'm not going to disagree with Wolf. Lots of people in the chat tonight, which is great. Please like the stream, as Wolf says. Much appreciated. 17 people in the chat.
Oh, fantastic, guys.
I'll tell you what, we're going to call it a day here, guys. Please come over to Thoughts from Mine Extra Time. We're going to go live for another half an hour over there with the headline show, Extra Time headquarters. We'll talk about, who we'd like to see as, potential managers for next season. We'll talk about the possibility of the signings that we've been linked with. Bergwijn being one of them, the old Tottenham winger. It's over on Forge from Iron Extra Time. If you jump over have a little look. Subscribe, like this video, share this video out to people. If you haven't already subscribed to either channel, please do so. Steve, I will shortly send you the link for the new one. And guys, we'll go live in about 5 minutes.
Okay, see you in 5, everybody.
Cheers, guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll catch you soon.